They seriously
They did their homework.
Oh, I am.
And another thing that we really have to get the listeners to do is listen. Go to www.afscme.org and get a copy of this. We're not going to be able to hit every aspect of it. I mean, this thing is thick, and it's really important for you to get an understanding of what we're talking about. And the best understanding is see for yourself that what we're telling you is the truth. These private corporations, privatized prisons, lie through their teeth. Their whole profit margin dictates the direction they go, not public safety. They have people escaping, they have all kinds of injuries, and how do you profit on prisons? You cut medical, you cut
Treatment, food.
I mean, that's not how to run a prison system, because what ends up happening, those individuals go back into the community. And the other scary thing on this is, guess whose lobbyists are pushing for more severe
Oh,
sentences?
well, this is what you're going to find out here. Here we know, and again, you and I are here in Connecticut, and when Bobby's talking about, you go to our website, we have a large population of AFSCME people who watch our show because of my union involvement here, and all you do is what Bobby's telling you. You go to our website, okay, and then you just type in private prisons, and it'll give you all this information that we have. And it'll be on the bottom. You'll probably see it where you, if you don't and you're not a member of AFSCME, where you can go and find all this information. We know, I mean, that this situation is horrific.
It's outrageous.
It's absolutely horrific, and people have been killed by neglect. And
Guards have been injured.
Guards are being injured. We have people escape because of lack of security,
Absolutely.
untrained.
The society's at risk.
And it's the threat to the population is what we're really talking about. These are not professional people, and they're selling a bill of goods to taxpayers, thinking they're going to save money. In the end, taxpayers, like everything else, are paying through the nose. Right?
Let me interject one thing, a really interesting note here about Russia. This is
This is today.
This is embarrassing.
Wait, this is really today. I love this because okay, well, this will be a few days from now, but and we're going to do a show. You'll have already been on my show pumping this show. This happened today. Well, okay, which is amazing.
Yeah. Are you ready for this? Russia
Right.
has taken 68 crime categories and are eliminating them. 30% of the population is going to be freed or reduced to misdemeanors,
Right.
where you would pay a fine or do community service. This is Russia doing this.
Right.
And on this
To
side
save
of the
money.
fence,
Yeah.
we're ripping the public off, creating a more dangerous
More
situation.
dangerous situation. It's unbelievable.
And we have private prisons
Right.
that have
Making
lobbyists
money.
that are pushing legislators to increase crimes,
Absolutely, and that's
to
what
make
we
a
have.
more stricter sentencing, simply so that they can have bodies to make profit on it.
This is one of the things we're doing here. Okay, we have people and they've been doing it. They have been doing it here for years, where we send people out of state and that got hurt in the state of Connecticut. But imagine having a lobbyist going out lobbying for longer sentences, for harder things. Okay, when it's really the reason is to make profits for private institutions. It's not about safety of the public. It's not about but the fear factor that they have generated in this country about misdemeanor criminals is unbelievable. 3 strikes, you're out. You and I were just talking about the 2 women that are in
Life sentences for $11.
Life sentences for stealing $11, and they've been locked up since the 90s. And even their own district attorney wants to turn them
Enron
loose.
stole billions, and how many of them went to jail?
Oh, it is.
Here's 2 women getting life sentences for $11.
It is, and this is costing the taxpayer money. I mean,
ridiculous.
it's not only costing them money, it's costing them their security because of what they're turning out from individuals, and it's you know.
See, the thing what people don't understand is that these privatized prisons are consummate liars. They had promised that they could produce better results than the state for less money, and it's not true.
It's not true. No.
They can't provide the services anywhere near to the quality that the state does. And they don't have the incentive. See, at least the state has an incentive to rehabilitate prisoners, to make them law-abiding, productive citizens. Privatized prisons don't want you to become a law-abiding, productive citizens, because if you do that, then they now lose money because they can't fill their beds. And there are swindles that you'll see, right, where they get clauses that if they have a 500-bed prison, the state has to pay for the bed, whether it's empty or anybody in there.
That's exactly
I
right.
mean, that is outrageous robbery.
You're going to see in the study, if you get the study and you read it, okay, the prison, I forget how many beds they had, about 90 beds, and the prison had an uprising in it because of their lack of security and their unprofessional guards. So they had to take the prisoners and move them out of the prison and ship them to another prison. However, CCA then charged
the state.
the state for empty beds, and it was part of the contract. Even though the beds were empty, they had to pay $47 a day or $48 a day for empty beds. At the same time, they then had to pay the price at another place where they shipped all these people, so they ended up paying double the price, and they had to pay them because of the contract. So the taxpayer ended up paying double what they would have normally had. I call all this bait and switch. I think this is the biggest scam.
Oh, it is, absolutely.
I think this is the biggest scam that is put over on the American people. That is unbelievable. And I got to say this. I have to say, I really get a little bit upset because our brown and black brothers in organizations are not doing enough organizing around this issue. Okay, there's a great book out, The New Jim Crow, by Michelle Alexander, I believe. Okay, she's a wonderful writer, and talks about how we have this situation going on where the community, we're making criminals out of poor people and uneducated people, and putting them in prisoners, and we're making money for corporations. It's outrageous.
When you get online and get a copy of this, there's a very interesting section on the industry. And it's a little bit too complicated to try to read it all down here in the short period of time that we have. But one of the interesting aspects of it is, I'll just read a small section. CCA has also led the industry in the very risky business of speculative prison building, whereby it builds a prison before there is a contract for beds.
Yeah.
A speculative prison may be seen as an economic development project for the host jurisdiction. The inmates are usually from one or more jurisdictions, often not from the host jurisdiction. The purchases of specific bed space are typical governments that are desperate to relieve overcrowding. When overcrowding reaches a crisis state, a government will often enter into a sole source emergency contract at a high per diem rate.
If we build it, they will come.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Healthy profits for CCA. Now, the District of Columbia entered into such a contract in 1997, which led to murders, escapes, and a successful lawsuit against CCA by district inmates housed in Youngstown, Ohio, for-profit prison. Initially, the District Financial Control Board rejected a $172 million prison contract with CCA that it said had the appearance of impropriety. For instance, the contract would have stuck the district with a whopping $14.7 million cancellation clause. CC had